This is the Innovator of Violence, Tommy Dreamer, and you're listening to CNY Podcast, giving you all your podcasting wrestling experience to the extreme.
Welcome everybody to the CNY Wrestles Podcast. This is your host, Mike Jones-Billadu, coming to you from Syracuse, New York. And I want to kick things off tonight in a different way. And you might not like this, but something happened in the city of Syracuse on Sunday night. It's been all over the news and all over social media today. I'm pretty sure you've all seen this. Dunkin' Donut employee dumped a bucket of water on a homeless man that was sitting in the Dunkin' Donuts. He wasn't bothering anybody. He was just sitting in there charging his phone. All he wanted to do was call his mother and charge his phone. He had his head down, so yeah, he might have been sleeping. He might have nodded off. But why do you need to dump a bucket of water on the guy instead of politely asking him to leave? What was going through your head, you minimum wage asshole, treating this person like dirt? And let me just clarify this. This has nothing to do with race. This has everything to do with being a decent human being. If you didn't want the guy there, go up to him, talk to him like a human being, ask him to leave. If you had to, if he was disrupting people, call the cops. But he wasn't. He was sitting there minding his own business. All he was doing was charging his goddamn phone. What gives you the right to throw water on this guy and treat him like a piece of shit? The man is homeless. He's disabled. He's ill. If you just wanted him to get out, tell him to get out. You don't have to throw water on him. And so Dunkin' Donuts, the corporation that owns the franchises here in Syracuse, suspended the employee that dumped the water and the employee that videotaped it. This should have been an immediate firing. There's no investigation needed. It's on video. You saw what the guy did. He is a complete piece of shit. He needs to be fired. Suspension is bullshit. I'm sorry. All right, I'm going to get off my high horse. You all have your own opinions on this, I'm sure. I'm not going to debate anybody. That's my opinion, whether you like it or not. So we're going to get right into the show this week. Today I'm going to recap the Dynasty Pro Wrestling event that happened this past Saturday night, the 29th of September, at the Whitesboro Accelerate Sports Complex in Whitesboro. It was called Table for Two. It was headlined by a main event featuring Rick Recon and Sergeant Fury, who just happened to be the first guest we've ever had on the show. The card was good. I mean, it was probably my favorite Dynasty show that I've been to. The card started off with Sean Carr from Binghamton. He threw out an open challenge, and it was accepted by former WWE superstar Muhammad Hassan. It was a good match. I was really impressed with Sean Carr. I've seen him before in action, but I don't know, there was something just clicked with these two guys, and it was a really good match. Muhammad Hassan came out on top. After the match, he shook Sean Carr's hand, raised his hand, and then walked out. It was a classy moment. It was two guys that put on a great match. It was very sportsmanlike, which kind of wasn't what I expected from Muhammad Hassan, the greatest heel in WWE history, arguably. I was kind of expecting him to have a little more heat coming into Dynasty, and it just wasn't there, and I was kind of taken aback by it, but I guess he's just trying to wrestle. I guess he's not trying to put on the old gimmick. He just wants to go out there and wrestle and, not be Muhammad Hassan that we know from before. But going forward, we had a pretty shocking twist of events. Pretty and Gritty came out, and Travis Dorian pretty much demanded a Dynasty World title match and put his career on the line to get it. His match was granted with Robo, the Dynasty champion. for later in the show. So kind of a surprise that Travis Dorian would put his career on the line like that. But ballsy to get a Dynasty World title match. Tino Cesar came out to do a promo, and he was interrupted by Ataxia, who attacked him. And Wayno came out to save Tino, and they turned it into a tag team match, and Ataxia picked up the victory. Tino Cesar is a nice guy. He's just recently returned to the ring, so I think he was shaking out of some ring rust. Wayno is a crowd favorite. These two together should have been a good, solid fan favorite team, and I don't know. I just felt like the crowd wasn't really getting behind them as much as they hoped, but maybe with some more matches in the future, they'll gel more as a tag team, and if that's where they're going. After that match, Sergeant Fury came out to cut a promo. It's a really good emotional promo talking about 9/11 and how he became a soldier after 9/11, and how he has to put his career, his name on the line, and he doesn't want to do it, but he's going to do it because he's sick of other guys calling themselves soldiers that weren't really in the Army. It was a good promo. He came out, he actually broke down crying, and of course, during intermission, he came out and ribbed everybody and said it wasn't really, he was just trying to get under people's skin. So it was a good promo while it lasted, and then he came out and reversed it. So good heel work for Sergeant Fury. He's a really entertaining guy on the mic. If you haven't had a chance to see him yet, you really need to check out a Dynasty event or whatever other events Sergeant Fury happens to be on. After that match, Travis Dorian got his world title opportunity with Robo, the Punjabi Lion. And at the end of the match, Robo came out on top, and Travis Dorian is no longer going to be wrestling for the Dynasty. So it was an emotional match for Travis Dorian. Here's wishing him the best in his future, whatever that might be. I don't know if this means he's retired for good or if he's just not coming back to Dynasty. He's going to wrestle in other places. So who knows what the future holds for Travis Dorian. Maybe we can get him on the show to answer that question. After the intermission, Bull Hightower came out for a match. He asked for a match, and Mike King granted it. And Mike King came out to introduce his opponent, who just happened to be the Beast of the Northeast, Brute Van Slyke. A little shocking there to find out that Brute is aligning himself with Mike King, and he came out on top over Bull Hightower. It was a big man match, what you expect from two big guys. Brute Van Slyke is amazing to watch. He really is. He's a powerful guy. He's a confident guy. It was really a showcase of his talents, and it was a good reintroduction of Brute into the Dynasty fold. The next match featured Tyler Vincent and Mike Verna. Really good match, two outstanding athletes. It ended in a double countout. Mike Verna asked Mike King to start the match for 5 more minutes, and the winner would become the number 1 contender. Mike King said, hell nah, and unfortunately the match ended in a draw. Another big story coming out of the Dynasty show, Christina Marie, the Diamonds champion, is injured and was unable to compete and defend her title at Table for 2, and then she was viciously attacked by... I gotta be completely honest, though, I did not catch the girl's name that was attacking her. All I know is she cracked a mean whip, and she was a beast. So that brought us to our main event, Rick Recon and Sergeant Fury in a tables match, and Mr. Man stepped up to be the special referee. He ended up getting speared through a table by Rick Recon. Another referee came down, and Rick Recon ended up putting Sergeant Fury through a table. And Rick Recon won the match to end the year-long feud. It was a pretty intense tables match. I was very impressed with both talents, and it was a pretty good night. I mean, Sergeant Fury ended up attacking Rick Recon at the end of the match, so maybe we haven't seen the last of this feud. Maybe we're going to get another match to finish it off. Maybe a steel cage. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It was a pretty good night. I mean, I think it was a little more cohesive than a normal Dynasty show has normally been. And the talent was really there for it. I don't know. I applaud them. I really do. I was really impressed with this show. Too bad about Christina Marie though, being injured. She said during training. So hopefully we'll see her back in the ring soon. I'm gonna hope to talk to her for the podcast coming up soon. And Muhammad Hassan, I'm not sure what to think about where his character's going from here, but some big things are probably on the way from Dynasty, and I'm sure we'll be hearing all about this real soon. So other things coming up in CNY this month, October 6th, this coming Saturday, Jake the Snake Roberts bringing his one-man show to Sharky's in Liverpool. Tickets are $20. There's VIP meet and greet tickets for $70, I believe, to get a picture and an autograph after the show or during the show or before the show. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm going to be there. I'd like to be, but we'll see what happens. On October 13th, there's two shows going on in Central New York. One up in Potsdam, Atlantic Championship Wrestling. One in Whitesboro, the New York Championship Wrestling's Day 1. It'll be pretty interesting to see. These are two brand new companies, and they're both doing their first show on the same day. Not that they're super close to each other, but I mean the talent around here will travel, that far. So they're kind of splitting the talent base of Central New York. So I'm hoping to be at Day 1 in Whitesboro. I'm going to check out Atlantic Championship Wrestling maybe at their next show. So, I mean, there's a lot coming up. And then on October 20th, the Saturday after, at the Pastime Athletic Club is Wild Zero Wrestling, putting on their second show in the former home of 2CW. It's a pretty interesting month going on in Central New York. There's a lot going on, a lot of shows, a lot of stuff, a lot of talk going on. One other, we're talking about new companies. We got to talk about our guests tonight. They're from the Upstate Wrestling Organization out in Utica. They're a brand new company. They're just getting off the ground. They're looking for a building, they're looking for a ring, and they're looking for the talent. They want to train their own talent, put on their own shows in their own building, in their own ring. It's a huge undertaking. These guys, they know what they're getting into, and we wish them all the best of luck, hopefully to get this company off the ground. Utica could definitely use its own wrestling company, but I'm sure they would travel all around Central New York like the rest of them do. So without further ado, I'm going to bring in our guests right now. We're going to bring in Sean Stevens, Craig Palmer, and Sean Clements. They are the crew behind Upstate Wrestling Organization. So let's welcome them to the show. So we are joined now by the Upstate Wrestling Organization team. We have Craig Palmer, Sean Stevens, and Sean Clements. So guys, what's going on with the Upstate Wrestling Organization?
Hi, well, how y'all doing? My name is Sean. I'm the CEO. It's pretty much just a startup organization. We're trying to get it off the ground, pretty much build into something we can foresee setting our future up.
Yeah, Dave, my name's Craig. I'm the chairman and basically one of the founders of this company. It's basically has been my baby for a long time. I've loved wrestling for many years, so it's like kind of like my passion kind of to get this going. So, like he said, we're an upstart organization, just getting our foot in the door. We want to take it, if everybody watches our stuff, whoever likes our YouTube or our Facebook page, you'll see all the links we have on there. You go back to what we did. We used to wrestle in the house on mattresses. We want to take it to the next level. By going to a building, into a ring. We're now starting to try to transition into that is what we're going to do.
So how did you guys all meet?
Well, me and Sean met, ironically enough,